They brought Rocky back or Stallone back as a Mortal Kombat 11 character.
Really?
No black characters in DBZ. Don't say Mr. Popo. What's up, everybody? I'm Warren, that's Aaron, and that was our techno-inspired theme as we cover this cyberpunk-ish sci-fi film today called Alita, off of the back of our anime episode, which I really enjoyed. A lot of things we didn't talk about during the anime episode, but this kind of comes full circle because we were talking about specifically not doing live action remakes of anime mangas, but here this movie lives.
And I'm also thinking this is why we need more anime episodes. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm a terrible movie critic, but I'm a great anime critic.
That would be, if that was us, that would be completely overdone, right? Like, there's so many anime analysis, Crunchyroll, Funimation stuff out on YouTube that we'd get lost in the sea. So this is us just doing our critique with whatever the fuck comes across our face. But this movie I really enjoyed. It was fun, and I didn't have zero knowledge of the books. I came across it in my youth in Flushing, but never really got into it.
I didn't know much of it. Probably closer to nothing.
Yeah. That I think that helped my movie going experience, because I didn't have any expectations of it, and it was a really cool premise, and I wasn't like, again, Ready Player One. I wasn't referring back to the book, be like, yeah, you didn't do that right, or that's not really canon, and you took liberties with this shit. Still does not excuse the Dragon Ball Z remake that the studios did, but not having that precursor animation knowledge of what Alita was, I found this extremely entertaining.
I like that this felt like the first anime movie. I'll put Speed Racer in that category, but this felt like the first anime movie where they really stuck to like whatever the core like plot points of the original show was. And I think it came out the best I've seen it so far. Like, even with Ghost in the Shell, I don't remember a lot of the story from that, but with Alita, I can tell you the story, and there's some really good moments that don't rely on you just loving anime. There's a lot of them, but there's some that aren't.
I think that's absolutely true, and it felt like that because I did walk away from this movie thinking that, all right, so this film is probably catered toward young teens, young adults, but still there were no stakes in it for me because they were trying to cram so much in with the backstory and the relationship with the doctor, then the boyfriend, and then like the higher up status between the ground level and the Cloud City, that I didn't really get attached to anything other than her. She was a really compelling actress, and I wanted to see more of what Alita was capable of. Like, yeah, let's, Superman's still like discovering what he can do, right? Like, I want to see that journey. And I appreciate the fact that she was flawed as well in terms of still having emotions to the doctors and the kid she felt protective of, which I couldn't connect to for some reason. I was like, yeah, let that idiot die.
Why on that one.
But also with like her original body being destroyed.
Are we diving right into this one?
Oh no, we're gonna come full circle. We're getting really ahead of ourselves here. If this is your first time, I'm sorry I cut Aaron off, but if this is your first time, we do news, we do commentary, we talk about what we're watching. We try to do some quotes, which we've gotten away from, and we've started a new segment, cold reads sort of deal. We don't know where this is gonna go because we just hop on here and just like decide to talk. We were gonna talk shit anyway, but we decided to turn the cameras on because enough people thought it was entertaining that they would watch. So that's the entire basis of the show. Hopefully, Aaron. Hopefully you haven't lost your train of thought and I didn't interrupt you too much. What were you going to say?
Oh, no. Mainly just... I was going to jokingly shout, this is a 2. This is a 2 movie for me. Out of 100.
I was thinking about the rating. It's a good movie, but this might be the lowest I've rated anything we've come across.
That just goes to show, like, we'll definitely get into it, but that there's no matter how good the adaptation of an anime to like an American production is, or American production company, it's not gonna be perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it's still anime, and there's gonna be some like cringy parts, or they're like, why are they just throwing like the boyfriend? I can't wait to talk about him because yeah, I know why. You
All
felt
right.
nothing for him.
Absolutely nothing for that guy.
Yeah.
And he was kind of a dick to his own friends too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he
Like,
was hoed before bros immediately. He didn't
yeah.
give a shit.
Anyway, well, what's going on in movies this week, Aaron? I got some stuff to talk about, which I think you'll appreciate. But what have you noticed happening this week?
I've got okay. One thing I liked was I don't even think anyone's going to care, but Rambo can only continue. Sylvester Stallone says Rambo can only continue as a streaming prequel. Now, do
Who's
you
gonna play him?
care? Exactly.
Is he gonna
And
do the
do you
CGI?
care?
Do I care?
Yeah, because
I don't.
I became this summer I became a huge fan of Rambo just out of the blue. I watched like the first one at work and I was like, you know what, this is really good.
So
And then from then on, some are better than others.
yeah, that's one of those things. That's '90s action. Like they probably should have stopped after the first one. Um, but the story of Rambo is when you meet Sylvester Stallone, um, his myth precedes the character, right? Like the myth of who this traveler is, you find out as he's able to do these crazy fucking things. You find out that he's like this behind enemy lines, kill in the dark. You know, they don't send him in to negotiate sort of person with like, you know, I fight for my country and like I'm just trying to get by. I would really like to see the myth of where he learned that stuff and some of the, you know, tactical trials and tribulations he faced in Nam and in the jungle and all those places. I think they tried to cram that into the older Sylvester Stallone thumbs up movies later. But that should be done with a prequel. He's absolutely right. I also think his body's giving out. You can't do that shit anymore. No one wants to see that anymore. Stop with the Rockies. Stop with the Rambos.
The best incorporation of Stallone, old Stallone, was Rocky as the mentor. That's great
Yes.
because, like,
At
when I
5,
go,
he should have stopped at 5. Rocky 5.
yeah, I gotta watch I gotta watch Rocky. Actually, I've only seen highlights because of how iconic it is, but I have
Yeah.
never sat down and watched the full movie.
Oh my god. None of them?
No, I don't
Oh
believe
my
so.
god, dude. Also, all 5 of them are the first 5 are pretty good. I will give him that. The first one, and then the second one where he fights Creed, and then the third one with Clubber Lang, which is a badass Mr. T. The fourth
Okay.
one with like the Russian Drago, which they do in the Creed remake, which is really great. When I saw that, I was like, this is inevitable. They're gonna do the children of Apollo Creed and Ivan Drago. So seeing it on the film, like, yeah, I want my royalty checks. That was my idea. But on the 5th one where he played the old mentor to Tommy Gunn, you like fear and the angel on your shoulder, you got to bottle it up, Tommy Gunn. And he fights him in the street. That should have been the end of Rocky. They should have stopped it. But they brought Rocky back, or Stallone back, as a Mortal Kombat 11 character.
Really?
Yeah,
Like
he's
DLC?
playable. DLC, just like the Terminator, just like Spawn, you can play as Rambo.
Predator 11 in Mortal Kombat or 10?
I think he's in 10. Predator isn't in this one. Yeah, I know.
Oh, Rocky fighting Predator would be hilarious. That's a
Rambo.
match you pay for.
They would
Rambo.
never put Rocky in Mortal Kombat. I hope. God. You have no
His
idea.
finishers would just be just a fist through someone's head, I guess.
No, someone like beats the crap out of him so badly that they die of exhaustion. That's he's just like a punching bag. He's so punched out.
And they still claim the loser, the winner.
In the news that I've seen, the Gorillaz, the famous musician band, UK based, I believe, They're
They
doing a live action, not a live action. They're doing an animated movie. I don't know what the movie is. I'm gonna guess it's some like band orientated Spinal Tap mockumentary of them, since a lot of their stuff online seems to be that way anyway. They do animated voiceover interviews as the character. I think like Murdoch and like what's the chick's name? The Russell Murdoch and I used to know all four of them.
I know iconic songs from the Gorillaz, so, and I've seen their album artwork clearly, so I like that. I heard them in production for a TV show a while ago, so I guess, do you know if that transitioned into the movie or it's just
I could
like its own
be
thing?
I could be misquoting it, but when I saw it, it was a movie. I would prefer it to be a movie or maybe like a Netflix miniseries sort of deal. But I have no clue.
Those Netflix miniseries are hitting hard. I think it would probably serve. They'd probably get more freedom if they went to Netflix for their stuff.
With that,
But
Netflix Queen's Gambit. Everyone's talking about Queen's fucking Gambit. I haven't seen it
I
yet.
really,
It's one of those things that so Netflix is talking about Queen's Gambit. 62 million people watched it. That's a major box office opening if it was in the box office, but it is straight to streaming, and it lends itself more to like the theater is a relic. No one, dude. I've been saying this for so long. Movie theaters, like this, the idea of a Nickelodeon. Your grandkids are gonna be like, our parents sat there and watched this thing when really they had a screen and the size of their wall in their house, but they still went and got popcorn during a pandemic to do. It's just such a fucking. It's such an
it
antiquated experience.
it was always the novelty for me. But then again, my brother lives in Utah, and he's like, I love when he goes seeing a movie and he just wants to dive into the experience. There's someone with like a burger. You can bring in meals at their
I
theaters
love
there.
those theaters. Yeah.
But like there's this dude chewing on a burger like 2 feet away from him, and he's like, I can't hear anything. So I'm like, I don't get a lot of people interrupting in movie theaters here. It seems like going to the theater is a novelty now. I mean, like, regardless of the pandemic, it just feels like it's just something to do. It's just nice. So but I love that there's now the option for companies to, just like with Wonder Woman, that there's the option they can throw it to theaters and to streaming services at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it'll give me more reason to rewatch a movie.
So Wonder Woman, I think, is going to go also the way of Mulan, right? HBO Max and movie theaters, and in that you also pay online to watch. It's, I don't like that, but like whatever. Anything that moves us away from movie theaters, I'm all for. But Wonder Woman is doing that release to theaters, limited theaters, and also online. I wonder how it's going to do. I'm not anticipating that it's going to do that well, but the original Wonder Woman, I think the obstacle was that like people aren't going to go to the theater to see this, but if it's available, like I'll check it out.
I think that's the rough part about this, is that the second Wonder Woman, I feel like, would have done so well in movie theaters after the first one. Because I thought
Yeah,
the first one
yeah,
had some hype on it. There were
yeah.
complaints and a divided audience, but it had a good review overall.
Mhm.
And my only complaint about Wonder Woman was only the ending. Like everything that movie was trying to say and do was great, and then the last boss battle happened and I hated it. But I don't know. I think for this, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, like, now it just gives me more incentive to like really boost up my home entertainment system.
Exactly. Same. Exactly. I am snorting up movies in VR. That's what I'm living. With Wonder Woman, I enjoyed the world that she lived in, and wanted to see more of it. Um, in Justice League, um,
Yeah,
and with the boxes, and sort of the Amazonian fight to get it away from Steppenwolf. That was amazing. I want to see more of that. So in this second one, it's all about Diana's like rise, um, to win. I guess the gauntlet, the shield, and the sword to basically like become Wonder Woman internally, and also fight a modern battle, with Chris Pine there as like, uh, I guess
Was he? I forget the trailer from the last time I saw it. But
It's
wait, no, it's it's 1984,
it's
right?
84, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. But
They
yeah, I guess that
f-
is more.
they fly in a jet in this one, and because he's like a fighter pilot, so he's flying and whatever. And I'm wondering if she makes it go invisible or something.
Please make
No.
it visible.
She's also
They've already
like
done.
using the badass scene is like she's also using the lasso to like do the Spider-Man thing off of Thunderbolts, which I thought was actually really fucking cool.
That's yeah. If they've already incorporated like one of her more ridiculous types of things, like the lasso of truth, and they've made it awesome like that's the one thing I remember from that trailer. I would have remembered if that jet went invisible. I feel like they're saving that punch. I mean, there's cloaking technology in anything, so
For
there's no
sure.
way that thing doesn't go invisible for a second.
I watched it was like a New York Times produced documentary on Wonder Woman maybe about 10 years ago, and how Wonder Woman was like this pro femme character meant to instill fear in men all over the world. And it's like, yeah, there's strong men everywhere, but like what is the most terrifying thing that a man can do? Is like be compelled to tell the truth to his significant other, right? And that's where the origins of the lasso go. I think the writer creator of it, again, call me out if I'm not accurate on this, but the writer creator of it also had a hand in creating the polygraph test.
Really?
Yeah, something along those lines. I'm vaguely remembering the documentary, but it was around that time, or maybe it came out during that time. And it was like, yeah, that thing, no one wanted to be caught in that thing, and that's what like really created, the Wonder Woman. Like Superman could bounce bullets and like was super fast and strong and stuff, but that was the thing that sketched people out. Uh, says a lot about
I
the
imagine.
time.
I mean, I feel like today, if you sold it that way, that would be just as compelling. Because like even in the movie, they really like Chris Pine, like as
Yeah,
they're
he
struggling
sold it really
him
well.
with the rope.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they did great together. Their chemistry was really. I can't wait. I forgot. He's in the sequel.
yeah, they brought. Yep, yep.
Okay, that's weird. I'm weirded out by that, but I can't wait to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Like uh, I'm not. I always get hesitant with time travel and bringing back dead characters. You got to commit, and bringing back dead characters and time travel really gets rid of that level of commitment in your story writing. Like now you're like, oh, well, I can bring back anybody now. You can go back in time at any point now.
I'm curious to see how that's played out. Uh, but like he's in a significant portion of the trailer, so I don't think there's any sort of like cloaking or Mysterio sort of
It's
hallucinations
got to.
going
If
on.
she's made of clay, he's got to be something. I'm not. It's too good to be true. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Chris Pine's got to be some sort of demigod copy of something. I don't know.
In that same universe, though, Snyder Cut is got 150 minutes of unseen footage that he's going to release with his cut. In addition to more, cyborg scenes, which I'm a fan of. Love Cyborg. Love Doom Patrol's version of Cyborg too. And
Yeah.
Cyborg's relationship with the grid is like can't be underplayed. You can't like not. I want that. It's just not like a guy fighting daddy issues, right? It's a man against himself in his own mind for sure.
Yeah, and against himself. Like he's walking man versus machine kind of like
Yeah,
imagery.
and
I
and
can't wait to see
struggling
more
to
of.
keep his humanity.
Yeah, I hope they match it because like in Doom Patrol, he has a lot of internal struggles with like was he was the cause for becoming cyborg, and the loss of some loved ones. In case no one's seen Doom Patrol, recommend it. But so I'm wondering how Snyder is going to try and make that as emotionally engaging because from I well because yeah I don't remember a lot of what he did or how he lived. Like he had some issues with his father, but it seemed like it lingered away from that as the movie went further on,
It didn't
like
dive
without like
into it.
actual.
Yeah,
Yeah,
outside of like an experiment gone wrong, this is all your fault. Um, but inside those scenes, there's a lot more dark side. Steppenwolf. Um, there's inside these trailers, like I'm pulling out my amateur comic following guy. I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Um, and I
Oh,
think it's gonna be really, really good. There, I hated the fact, and Wonder Woman's a big part of this. The cheese of Justice League. Aquaman was a big part of that too.
I
Um,
would say, oh yeah, hell yeah.
but I want them to keep that sort of darker aspect to their universe, like the
It sounds like,
gravity of realism.
yeah. Is it true he's trying to make it black and white still, or he just said he wanted it to be Zack Snyder?
He's always got that like sepia tone sort of dull look. So what if he wants to make it black and white? I hadn't heard that. I could be for it. I don't know. I mean, just keep it in the
Well,
universe.
I only thought because I saw one trailer where it all was black and white, and it was just I think a lot of the campiness was because of like Joss Whedon's hand in it, like, but definitely it feels like Zack Snyder lingers and sticks to that darkness. I just don't know how well he sticks to like developing characters. I haven't been always satisfied by that perspective of his. It's
I
more of like the
mean,
build up to an action scene. You
you
know, like
were
that scene with Steppenwolf and on the Wonder Woman's island. That is amazing. But like, think about how that scene started when they're all like aiming arrows at each other in a circular room. If anybody misses Steppenwolf, you're shooting your friend. You're immediately.
See, you and I saw two totally different scenes there then, because I was like, these guys are pinpoint accurate. They're all like angled down, and like, yeah, I'm like, there's no. It's what I saw during that film again, going into it wanting to like it too, acknowledging that right was with like how they basically seal the rooms, and you know how they call the alarm and the system of fight or flight, get this out of here, that they had running this practiced sort of like that tells a story a lot. I don't need you to hold my hand too much, right? In these snippets where I can just sort of like play that scene back and be like, oh, I wonder, like, that's fucking crazy. Like this character right here, she totally just sacrificed herself and Stefan just blew through the door.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that holding of the door moment as they're leaving. There's a lot of tension in that scene.
Yeah.
There really is. Yeah.
And then the gods fight. So Snyder's really good at that stuff, man. Like making world scale conflict.
The gods fight.
When they're telling the story of his first loss, right? The tribes of man came to fight, even the Atlanteans and the tribes of man and allies from other worlds, the Green Lanterns,
Oh,
came to
yeah.
fight Steppenwolf, and then they took the mother boxes away. Each one got one sort of deal. Um, that was Hermes. That was Zeus. That was all the gods pitching
It would have been
in.
cool. I don't know if they incorporated that god from like Ares from the first Wonder Woman, but that would have been cool if he was like in that at all. I
You
can't
know
remember.
what? He might have been in there, but he didn't. It depends on how you. Like, I'm sure someone has dissected the scene and they've screenshotted him and got him like plopped in somewhere. That's Ares without his war armor before he became, God of War. Back when they were just like, gods versus titans.
Back with his handlebar mustache.
So these all remakes, right? I'm like, let's do some new IP, but like if somebody wants to revisit something to do it right and respectful, like this DC one, I'm game for it. HBO didn't do this, but the video game The Last of Us is really cinematic. Basically, it's like a quick time. It's like a interactive movie experience, and people constantly call for games to be made into films. And so this guy cast it really well. He made a fan-made The Last of Us trailer, and it's got like tens of millions of views. Live action. It looks really fucking good. But he uses cutscenes from the video game and actors in similar situations of like The Walking Dead to kind of, how they do that to tell that story. Did I lose you, dude? All right. Yeah, I was going on and on about fucking The Last of Us remake HBO, and then we got disconnected. We probably had some elevator music or bars and tone for a quick second, but had to cut the recording. Now we're back. Talking
copyright.
Yeah,
Elevator.
non-copyright music is what we're gonna play, right? We were talking about movie news. That was a pretty decent movie news segment. We were talking about anime last week that led us into bringing up Alita as a movie this week to discuss. I just want to say, last week we didn't talk a lot. Like, there's so much anime to cover. I didn't talk about, one of my favorite Weeb animes called Chobits. I don't think we discussed it.
Oh my god!
Have you seen that?
That is in the root of my mind. Yeah. That was like
love that anime.
That was like Anime News Network. Like, there was a small channel on like my parents' cable. That was the little segment of free anime they would toss out. If you bought the subscription. That's amazing.
The sexual tension of a college kid and his sex toy love interest robot that he was too afraid to make a move on, and all his friends having like their little personal computer robots. It's actually a really endearing anime once you get past the very, very weird insinuations that happen all over the anime.
The tropes, yeah, those
the very bad tropes.
That's just anime. Some types of anime, not all. But I remember Chobits. I liked it. I can't even remember like how it ended, or maybe it didn't. Like, a lot of earlier anime just made it to like 12 episodes because they didn't really have so many streaming service options to hop onto. But
I don't think it had that many episodes. I think it was one season, and I feel like she the more she became to learn, she was like a really special droid, kind of ammonium-esque. Yeah, like there's something different about this droid here, and she had like the spark of humanity, which you kind of see in the intro video.
But
I also really like during college, I used to smoke and watch Shin a lot. I don't know if you've watched it, like the English dub of the badass kid, fucking hysterical episodes of Shin that I still love to watch snippets of on YouTube today.
I feel like there's a remake of that out, actually. Like, there was some like HD, not like a poor remake, but it looked like the same. It was like Case Closed, where it was just a revamp. Same animation, same characters, hopefully the same cast, and they were just doing the same thing. I think that came out in the past 5 years.
What?
I don't know, but I didn't watch Shin-Chan nearly as much. I only knew of it because it was like on Adult Swim and Toonami and stuff like that. And I would catch snippets of it. It was funny, but I don't think I got the humor at the time.
Yeah, it is. It was. That's an example. I've never seen the Japanese one, but that's a really good example of a really amazing English dub. Because the humor that they talked about, really, I'm sure that it had some Japanese. The Japanese version of the humor was very applicable to like Japanese cultural commentary, but the English one that they dubbed in was it was very adult humor, even for Adult Swim. And it was, I think, designed to go quickly over your head, and for the more quick thinking people to snatch it out. Not quick, but like the adults in the room would be like, what the fuck did she just say?
What are you watching?
Yeah. Like, there's something in it for everybody with Shin-Chan.
I should give it another try, because I remember, like, also online, just funny. In any anime community, there's like a lot of posts of Shin-Chan memes and stuff like that. Like, I still see him to this day. He's still in the cultural norm, or social mind, or whatever.
That art style too. I can't. It's very specific, and I'm pretty sure I've seen it on other things, but I can't really. I don't know.
It like reminded me, like, you remember Adult Swim like had a show called Home Movies or something?
Yeah, I love Home Movies. Loved Home Movies.
It looked like Japan's version of that.
Yes, but
like, a way different approach with their comedy. But that's what it felt like.
Coach McGurk, Archer, Melissa.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Dude, it was
good. John.
That was actually and that some of that comedy that wasn't as adult themed, but it did have adult moments. Yeah, Coach McGurk talking, giving the kids a pep talk while he's hungover, and then like one of the soccer moms walks over, and he's essentially like, uh, the kids are like, Coach McGurk, why are you still looking at her? She drove away, and he turns to the kids and goes, well, when you guys grow up, that's what us older guys like to call a sure thing. And you tell it, yeah, again, inappropriate.
But if it's a swim show, that's I guess that's why you're going there.
That's
why I
that's
went
pretty
there.
much why you watch it. Yeah, it is an amazing show. And then some of the movies that they actually make, um, just like again, cultural commentary, Inception. I would watch the shit out of those films that they produced.
On Shin Chan?
No, that home movies that Brandon and his friends actually make, because they
Oh,
would
okay.
show some of the films that they were working on in the anyway. Yeah,
I saw
down the
snippets of
rabbit
it.
hole.
Yeah, I was
You should
back in the
everyone.
recesses of my mind.
You can't passively watch Shinchan, and you can't passively watch home movies. If you're gonna watch it, which I encourage you to do, give it your full attention. After the first episode, you'll probably be hooked. But what else is going
I
on
would.
in the news? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought we were going to talk about more anime stuff we could have gotten to last
We
week
can
because
do it.
mine wasn't so much as like, well, it could be iconic shows. Just watch Full Metal Brotherhood, the English dub. It's a good one. But there's a lot of hate online for some reason against Naruto now, and I hate that. The hate against Boruto is well deserved. The hate against Naruto is undeserved. And people keep going like Black Clover is the new generation's, their top three show, like Goku,
Yeah.
One Piece, and Naruto. And I'm like, Black Clover is an embarrassment. I can't. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's not it doesn't open nearly as strong as Naruto. And I'm just throwing this out there. They need to get rid of the stigma on that. Naruto's amazing.
You know what it is? It's the next generation being dismissive, because Naruto people would say dumb shit like Trunks wouldn't stand a chance or something. It was just like, are you fucking kidding me with this bullshit,
Dude,
you
I
guys?
still,
So it's like this next generation snidely shrugging off the previous generation's anime characters. That's what that is.
because I still see tons of posts no matter where I go. Like Instagram also keeps recommending it to me, but I see like some making fun of Sakura to this day. And I see there was literally one dude on a bus with his friend of his, or no, like on train or like subway on BART, and he's just Naruto, like in a wig and everything, and he's just like doing hand signs, and then his friend is Sasuke, like they're on a bus just like, this is the only time this is okay
It's
to like scream it on a train.
You know what, too? I also think it's really easy to cosplay those characters. So you see them people are just fatigued by Naruto. That's it. It's
Yeah.
really easy to spot someone who's like into it. The symbolism in the stro is extremely strong. But yeah, I never really got into it. That's because I'm still like, I'm having the Superman versus Goku fight. I can't be worried about fucking Sasuke. Yeah, or who the fuck.
Okay. First of all, you don't got to worry about Sasuke. Goku, Superman, they could just fart him out of existence. But the fighting, the animation in their hand-to-hand scenes, like in Naruto, that's what makes it worth it. And then like the build up to those moments, it takes forever. In fact, I don't know how do you view anime when it has like a lot of filler? Because honestly, I will look up forums that kind of help me omit what isn't important in this,
I think
So I did that for Naruto.
I think the filler matters, man. Inside your own head, right? If you don't need that, if you're somebody who like skips the cutscenes in games and like whatever, and that filler is kind of the same, where they're just like staring at each other and like they're going through the internal monologue in their head, where it's like, the screen goes crimson, and then it's like, like I'm sensing a power level somewhere else, and
Yeah.
I think that's extremely valuable to help sort of build and tell the story, because in reality terms, this fight is 5 minutes. You know, like it's the same way like wrestlers do a lot of that, you know, grandstanding speeches and, you know, stand in the middle of the ring and calling people out because like the match is going to be 15 minutes, but you need to sell it for 2 weeks.
That makes
But
sense. I think,
it adds
yeah.
stakes. That's where the stakes come from. Otherwise, you're just like watching cool fights.
Well, I think, yeah, there's specific filler where it's like they're training, but I count filler as in like this has no correlation to like their growth or development. It's just like, yeah, I guess I get very specific with it because like I'm there when it comes to like training montages and stuff like that, like or character, like maybe just a night on the town. There's like some episodes I only caught like some of the good ones, but there's like some episodes in Naruto where it's like the filler for some reason was like animated way better and the story was just concise like to this one episode and they never drop back to it again. So I think because there's like at least 600 of Naruto, I felt like there has to be something to cut here. Like not all of this has to be that important. um am I just watching cutscenes though?
uh it's a good question. With any anime too, you're basically the problem that I had with Naruto and also these other like well the big problem I have with One Punch Man too is like where this fucking heroes coming from out of left field, right? They have this whole like superhero rating system. Like that sounds like a hell landscape to live on. Like everyone's a superhero. What happens if you're a normal fucking person? Whereas where DBZ, you know, along with the timeline, the grandiosity of the villains you encounter starts to heat up and they make sense of you know sort of the culprits on Earth, with Saiyan Man, right? Gohan being this like crime fighting sort of superhero um, thing. I don't know.
Did you Let's ask about that. That's probably one of the more controversial. How did you feel about Saiyaman when you first saw him?
Um, as an adult, as a kid, I saw it as like, um, this is to sell merchandise. When I first saw it,
Uh,
I was like, this is a very, you know, this is to make action figures, his entire dance and strut that he does to introduce himself. Like that
it's
like Mr.
Ginyu-esque a little.
Huh?
Oh, his dance. Sorry, his dance also seemed a little Ginyu-esque, like when he as Saiyaman. He's like doing
Yes.
the whole
Yeah, he's
awkward.
very Ginyu. Very Ginyu squad. Um very Team Rocket too. I feel like that's what else? It
I thought it was funny that even in the show they had like Gohan just go like, it's kind of lame. Like I didn't even want to be him or something like that. But then they threw Videl in with him in Super.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
that's the film I'm talking about. There's literally like 4 episodes where him and Videl team up and fight this random monster that never comes back again or didn't even come from the main antagonist to begin with. So I'm like, I don't think that's as necessary. You could probably cut out the Saiyaman arc and be fine.
yes, absolutely. You could I mean, I'd say you cut out Videl as well, but then you never get Pan in GT, who is
Well,
basically
yeah.
Goku's main travel companion. Goku and
Well,
Trunks.
that's I would actually disagree with that because Videl's build up, like her introduction with Gohan, like as he first goes to school and this is like right after the like a couple years after the Cell Saga immediately. It's like I don't know. I found their relationship very engaging. I liked that a lot. But because he like it was the first time you saw someone kind of well, I mean since Dragon Ball, well, where you saw someone training how to use this their key, you know, how
Yeah.
to use that energy in the world. And most times it just seemed like you just have to power up and walk with weights on. And that's it.
Dude, you know how many times I probably popped blood vessels in my eye trying to go super black. There's this really funny this kid on
Oh,
YouTube. Have you seen this video where he's like, yeah, for like 5 minutes, and he's just like
yeah.
is trying to go Super Saiyan on camera. That was me. I'm gonna like let's not pretend that like we didn't do that. But his video rendition of it was great. Someone dubbed over it, not someone edited it and actually, put sound effects and gave him blonde hair to achieve Super Saiyan at the end of the video, even though and he's like in a New York City apartment because you can see the door in the background. I'm like, what the fuck does his neighbors think is happening right now?
And he's like
in this
sitting on the
house?
floor, just chilling.
Yeah. Sitting on the floor in front of the couch. You've seen the video.
Yeah.
He takes his shirt off.
That's good.
He's skinnier than fucking Boo. At a certain point. Yeah. At the end, he's exhausted. But at a certain point, I was like, holy shit, is he going to do it? Like, I started to believe.
Yeah, like 4 minutes in, I think he's going to do it.
It's like, holy fuck, he might actually get there. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that might be a reason I also grew out my hair. It's curlier than I expected, but I was about to do Android 17 cosplay.
Oh,
just for the heck.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
I would
think you pull that off.
I love his kerchief.
No black characters in DBZ. Don't say Mr. Popo.
Of course not.
Okay.
Actually, oh man, I gotta raise my bar if you think I was gonna say that, because no. But actually, fun fact: did you know in Dragon Ball Z Kai they recolored him blue to like change that? Because there was Mr. Popo. There was a re-release of Dragon Ball Z called Dragon Ball Z Kai, which was supposed to be same voice cast or close to it, but it re-edited everything closer to the manga because there was some filler in Z in the original that wasn't in the manga, and so they actually recolored Mr. Popo blue for that release, like on TV. It dug up some controversy. I remember that at the time, but no.
Well, there is. Yeah.
Oh no, online I just see jokes about like, there's no ethnic characters in DBZ, and then people go like, but what about Piccolo?
You're black, right, Doug? You sound black. He's an alien, dude. He's a Namek.
Like, what the fuck?
But there is Ubu, who is, after Boo dies, they wish to reincarnate him as a good person. And his character is like a black dude with a mohawk. Short little Gohan looking guy. Yeah.
That's the reason I followed into GT, because I wanted to see Boo or Oob grow into the warrior that was like hyped up at the end of that.
Yeah.
And fuck, they just breezed over it immediately and then turned Goku into a kid. I'm like, damn. This is cold read monologues. This is what we're doing. I played myself. I got confused. I think I want you to do this as if you're in an anime. You're starting out, but yeah, you are the main without a single unique feature, the main character with your normal anime eyes and your normal short anime hair and your I don't know.
Am I going shopping with Chi-Chi, or am I staring down Vegeta for the first time? What's the scene here in my anime?
Okay, you're staring at a foe who thinks you are not as strong as you think you are.
And you're
staring at
am I smug about that, or am I like defiant and angry about that?
You're defiant and angry about it. Right. You're pumped up and you're focused. You're like, I can kill him.
All right.
And go.
Why is this incredibly handsome hedgehog being chased by a madman with a mustache from the Civil War? Well, to be honest, I feel like I've been running my whole life. Is this too much? Am I going too fast? It's kind of what I do. You know what? Let's back up. This is the island where I'm from. It had everything. Sandy beaches, cascading waterfalls, public access to loop-de-loops. I never had to catch a school bus because I could run across the entire island in less than 2 seconds. Also, there was no school.
Can you guess it?
Sonic the Hedgehog. How about you? All right.
It fits in the scene though. Weirdly fits.
That does work. Would you book me for that role based on what you were looking for?
I would book you as Shadow in the next Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay.
Movie. That would be no, that's a compliment. That's
not
perfect.
Not Nonzo. Nonzo.
Looking up Nonzo.
Knuckles.
Oh, Knuckles. Yeah. Okay, Knuckles would be cool. You should be Knuckles. I think there's a lot of hate on Shadow actually.
All right. So this one I want you to read it as Joker. Heath Ledger's Joker. All right.
Okay.
I want you to
I was hoping you'd say
be standing in front of the mob bosses for the first time. Ready?
All right. Ready.
And scene.
People looked at me differently, and they know I was with somebody. At 13, I was making more money than most of the grown-ups in the neighborhood. I mean, I had more money. I had more money than I could spend. I had it all. One day, the kids from the neighborhood carried my mother's groceries all the way home. You know why? It was out of respect.
Thank you, Aaron, for coming in. Please make sure you leave your name at the receptionist. We'll call you.
Yeah, but like when?
Thank you. Bye.
I'm a Joker, baby.
Susan, please bring in the next audition. We can bring in the 9:30. Not bad.
Thank you. Have you? That kind of reminded me when you said Heath Ledger. I see this video online of this kid who tried to do that monologue. Like he was in high school as Heath Ledger's Joker, and it was just so funny because it's a high school kind of schoolroom play, and he butchered it. But he's still in the makeup and costume, and he's like, "I'm the Joker, baby!" At the end of it, just butchers the entire rest of what he did.
That's like if you're like, what is Dad's posture in that auditorium? Why? It's like, oh God.
I couldn't tell who was holding the camera, but if it was
Good job,
his father,
son. Yeah,
you did it.
Yeah, you did a thing, man. But you know what? He went up there and he fucking killed it. I'm sure. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. You got one from me?
That video has lasted the test of time. I'll just say that. But yeah.
If you ever wake up, all right. If you ever wake up and a video you made 5 years ago all of a sudden goes viral, you need to seriously rethink what the fuck is going on in this video. Right? You're like, oh shit. Yeah. No, you're not like, oh, someone finally recognized my genius. You're like, they're making fun of something here.
Yeah, it's never the good approach. It's like, fuck. I should have done it the other way. With more makeup. All right. Now this one, I think you're going to say this as if you're in a boardroom meeting and you're trying to tell the rest of the board members to change this marketing strategy. And you're kind of desperate about it. You're a little panicked. You're like a little frantic about it. Kramer-esque, maybe. And yeah, I think take that as you will. You don't have to do not Kramer exactly, but yeah, I would say that's what I would enjoy to see. All right, and boom.
Hey, you know Pac-Man? Well, Pac-Man was originally called Puck-Man. They changed it because not because Pac-Man looks like a hockey puck. Paku Paku means flap your mouth, right? And what they were afraid was people changing and scratching out the P and turning it into an F. Like, am I dreaming? I'll leave you alone forever now.
Exit boardroom.
Yeah. I feel like I missed an entire segment there, but I was like, no, I caught that. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
For some reason, I also thought there was more to that, but no, I copied that one.
And they were afraid people would scratch out the P and turn it into an F, like Am I dreaming? I'll leave you alone forever now. All right. It's like, this
Now it
isn't where
reminds
I
me of,
parked
like,
my
Dare.
car. Yeah.
Fired, you say? Huh.
All right. I feel like I've
What
read
you got?
that before. I haven't heard it. I don't remember where, but I feel like I've heard that quote before. Yeah.
Okay, you gave a look that I was like, oh, he knows it immediately.
No, where's it from?
I love Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Ah, okay. Yes.
Mhm.
All right. So
It's a good.
it's a fucking really good movie. I love that. I love that movie. Another cartoon manga anime made into a live action. I think they actually. I don't know who other than Michael Cera you would get to do that. But
And the fact that they got me to train just sold it like even more.
So Scott, and from what I know in the cartoon, was way more confident than Michael Cera's version.
I also heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is what. That's why they booked him. All right. In this one, I want you to be Ruckus. I want you to read. This is Ruckus, Uncle Ruckus, reading it,
Perfect.
reading a bedtime story to the children at Uzo's orphanage. Uzo's like, "Hey, Ruckus, do you think you could, with our warm coffee, do you think you can read the children a bedtime fairy tale? Tell them about the learnings of what you encountered and, a lot of your experience on our adventures. Please share it with them. It will be good to give them a good night's sleep." And this is what you come up with.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good. Greed is right. Greed works. Greed clarifies, cuts through, and captures the essence of the evolutionary spirit. Greed in all of its forms. Greed for life, greed for money, for love, knowledge, has marked the upward surge of mankind. And greed, you mark my words, will not only save Tedler Paper, but that other manufacturing corporation called the USA. Thank you very much and good night.
Randall, once I leave, do not let Ruckus in without my supervision. Thank you. I'd say you nailed it. I'd book you.
Sweet.
I'd book you for that.
Tune in Tuesdays.
Tune in tomorrow. Catch us on the Chaos Agents every Tuesday on Twitch, and then subsequently here on YouTube. I was playing, oddly enough, to take us out of movie talk, out of cold reads, back to news. I was playing last weekend with Wisdom Save Weekend, which is I was playing with Total Party Chill. Devin was being the DM, and with an actor by the name of Todd Stashwick from 12 Monkeys and other films. But one of the things that I think is most noteworthy was he's doing a live action rendition of Kim Possible, which blew my mind. I guess it's going to be on Netflix, or if it is on Netflix. But I was just like, what?
Got Disney Plus. I would gamble Disney Plus, maybe.
No idea, but that was kind of like what I took away from the weekend. We wound up wasting $7,000 playing. The game had no initiative order. It was fucking crazy. It was weird, yeah, but it was so much fun.
That's my kind of game. Yeah. That's
so,
awesome.
Taking that out, fucking hammering that in as a segue to our actual movie, Alita, which is a live action remake of a cartoon. One that I was not familiar with. You said you weren't familiar with, but I think was done really, really well. But had some flaws. It was extremely entertaining in the fight scene, the CGI world, the world that they built was 100. I love that world. I love that environment. The story, I felt like tried to do too much.
Yeah, that's that's another thing I like anime. They really are good at building out the world and like how it should work, but sometimes there's like these little holes in the story where why do these characters really feel that attached to each other? I can't remember initially, but it felt like the only draw between Alita and the boyfriend, oh, I can't remember his name, was like that they saw each other and
Yeah.
that he was nice to her, but he was like wasn't I can't remember. Was he a thief or was he just a ruffian in some way? Like he was just kind of like tough a little. He didn't really
He,
mess with anybody
he's supposed to be
or
rough,
pickpocket.
but yeah, he was
Okay.
like more of like a marketplace sort of like go between. I wouldn't
Okay.
call him like a thief, but definitely shifty. But he was
Yeah.
about as
Kind of
shifty as
that.
like Zach Morris in Saved by the Bell. I didn't really buy him as like, you know.
That's amazing. Yeah, he did. Maybe he looked like him too. No, no, no. That's the
No,
other
he
one.
looked like
I'm thinking.
Christoph Waltz actually. I thought he might have been his like son. They did look alike.
That's another thing too. Like he also didn't stand out because there's other good actors in this. There's like a handful with Christoph Waltz and the main villain. I forget what I've seen him in, but I know I've seen him in a lot. I love that dude. Wait, isn't he supposed to
Francis
be?
from Deadpool was one of the bounty hunters.
Oh, that's who that is. The one with
Yeah,
just the face.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
He's
they
one of
chose a
the
good dude for
yeah. No,
that. His face fit perfectly.
it had a lot of amazing actors from Jennifer Connelly to Christoph Waltz to Mahershala Ali to yeah, Rosa Salazar, who actually was playing Alita. I like that they kept the big anime eyes on her. I don't know what that as a style choice, but I love that they kept that.
I think yeah, it showed that there was a lot more heart put into it. That they were still trying to achieve that because you could have just kept her like normal, but the fact that she has such believably robotic kind of big eyes the whole time really sells the fact that she's just alien to the rest of
Yeah.
this world. It gets a little uncanny valley when you first see it, but like I don't think it ruins the movie.
It
But if you're not
also
used to anime, yeah, you got to get used to it.
sorry about that. It also with anime too, right? Like that's an uncommunicated level of awareness that this character has, right? Like it's very clear that they've either seen some shit or they see the world through a different perspective. Even with the character with half the eye on Naruto, right? Like
Yeah,
that's someone who's coming at the world at a different angle.
yeah, Kakashi.
Kakashi, yeah, whoever
Also,
the hell.
People are stealing his look because he has a face mask the whole time, but it's also his sweater. I see that
It's a
popping up in
turtleneck.
fashion a lot. Yeah,
So easy to cosplay as these fools. Um, the
I
CGI.
think
Go ahead.
I just think with her those I don't know. I was going to say if those eyes like faltered in their quality, like with the special effects, it would have broke the movie. It wouldn't have worked as well as it did. But if you've seen the behind the scenes, they have like a whole rig on her head for mocap and then dots around her eyes where it would be. And yeah, I like they care.
I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of effort went into this, and it shows because honestly, this is some of the best visual effects I've ever seen. And I'm very, very curious how well it's going to hold up in 10 years. It's so CGI in movies gets dated and transparent so fucking easy.
Oh yeah.
But like, I think we're reaching the point to where the studios are also aware of that. So they're going to try to like not have that be a thing for posterity, right? Like you don't want to watch Alita in 2031 and be like, ugh, I can't believe that I like that this fight scene, this roller ball compelled me so much. This is disgusting.
I can't believe it was only last year. I forgot it was like just December this thing came out.
What? Really?
Right?
Yeah, it feels like
just
so
last year.
long ago.
Because I was about to compare it. I don't think the visuals are perfect. They're like above video game, but I mean, like if video games are at the level of Last of Us and other stuff like that, then it's not saying that much. I think it will. I think Hellboy, like the remake, that CGI falters way
That's
sooner
really
than
bad.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this CGI will stand longer, especially because of just like, yeah, it seemed like they combined a lot of different elements between not practical sets and then their actual CGI backgrounds. Or yeah, what were you gonna say?
No, I think you're right. And I am rooting a little bit more for it than, you know, I think you can tell a lot in CGI without actually having, like, the Iron Man fight scenes where the two fucking tanks are just going at it, right? That was all on a computer. You can do a lot with CGI in the world building, right? Like she's jumping across the rooftop, and in the background, you get a glimpse of the city skyline, right? Even in that stuff, even in the marketplace, while, I feel like the worst parts of the movie were where they tried to actually do a set.
Yeah,
The marketplace during the day where, this like high-end researcher Jennifer Connelly's just randomly walking through. I feel like when there's so much wealth disparity in cyberpunk sci-fi, that anybody who's wearing any garment worth note walking into the slums is taking their life into their own hands. So that kind of takes me
yeah,
out of it, but I'm a sucker for any story where, someone's throwing a stone at God, right? I.e., see Uzo.
I like I like that. That makes sense. Uh, I think, yeah, I didn't think of it from that perspective. It doesn't make any sense that she's walking out in the middle of the day like unprotected. Uh, I I also couldn't agree more that the sets really did feel like they were out of place, like they were overlit and exposed or something. Like there was some, I can't remember where they were skateboarding or when Alita first met the boyfriend, but it felt like a set compared to when they zoomed out. It felt like the actual city was there. Like near the end of the movie, not when you're like on when she's on top of one of those long pillars to the base or something, and you can see the actual whole city. That looks amazing. It looks
Yeah.
like a real city, but it was, I don't know why it was hard for them to kind of incorporate the real sets with it. I guess that most of the attention went to her eyes and making her believable.
I mean, anytime she was in a scene, I was compelled to her and her story. So that seemed like um, a good bet to make. Even when she was in the room, practicing with her new body, and stopping just a hair inch from the mirror, um, that sort of like training montage, like just that sort of like growth story, you can do really well, and not, that room could have been a chair. I don't remember it, but because I'm like, what is she gonna do? Right? She's balancing on one finger. Like, this is fucking amazing. Like, this is like kid in a candy store shit. So if this, I think that's kind of why I was pulled to this story, just straight off the trailer, and was really disappointed when after watching it, I was like, oh, it was fun, entertaining, but like people really threw some shade at it.
I understand why, because it's just like this movie stuck so closely. Like I looked up a comparison video afterwards, like the first time I saw it, and there's some scenes that are just straight up stolen from the anime that they look like they incorporated pretty well in this remake. Like the very first scene where he picks her up out of the garbage, that's almost, it's not
Dude,
shot for shot, but it's dead on. It's pretty close. It's dead on.
when you have an anime they basically storyboarded the whole fucking film for you, right? Like, why would you change? Why? Like, of course, I would love that they would do these, comic book esque scenes, right? Like that. That's amazing to me. That's not a negative, right? Don't if that director took liberties on it, you'd be pissing blood about something else.
I think. Oh yeah, for the diehard Alita fans, but I also think there's some changes that it could have benefited from. Like, I'm not going to compare it to like Dragon Ball Evolution, but let's just say this: in that movie, they tried to keep what they could. Dragon Balls. Goku turns into a monkey. He fights a green man. Those are the important Dragon Ball things, said the producers.
Check,
And then they
check,
changed,
check.
yeah. And then they changed some stuff like that. Oh, he's taught by an old man. Then they changed some stuff like Goku goes to high school and there's Lamborghinis all around for some reason.
Yeah,
And and it makes no sense. I feel like Alita was afraid of doing anything like that it stuck so hard to the original source material.
Good.
And sometimes that is good. I think that is. But I also think it could have benefited from some changes. Like, imagine if the love interest wasn't there, or if they just retooled it in some way, or got, and as much as I love the death ball scene, like with the racetrack at the end, and she's smashing the other robots, that's amazing. The choreography is beautiful, and I got sucked into that scene.
Yeah, that
but I'm
was a
also
great
wondering,
scene.
but I'm also wondering, and I can't remember, why was she even there in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, what was her benefit to doing? I actually can't remember.
I think it was like was it the boyfriend that compelled her to do it, or like some benefit to him, or like I don't know.
I guess it was like, I can do this and I can get some information out of it, out of someone. But see, like, again, I just, from at the time, I remember thinking it was a very loose connection to throw her into this fight scene when all the other fight scenes really flowed into each other nicely. Like the big metal dude, like with who's like shot the dog, with giant arms, who shot the dog in the bar scene. I love that. I think that built up some tension that made you go, oh shit. And it gave you that anime moment where, like, they're actually killing things in this, and it's a cartoon. And they killed a puppy, also from the anime. But they showed it in the anime. That dog exploded in the anime. It just got pierced off screen in here, which I'm fine with. I don't need to see the dog explode. I was confused at how it got there.
Yeah, as if anybody can walk in off the street and like be a part of that, that blood sport. The boyfriend, you could have absolutely got rid of that guy, and I wouldn't even notice from the movie. They did need to. I mean, I guess they needed to feel like they needed to tender her up a little bit. But I feel like I would have loved to see more about the relationship with the doctor, Dr. Ito, and also Alita, versus adding I don't even know if the boyfriend was in the anime, but if it was, they probably had a longer turn timeline to like build a relationship, kind of like that Death Note thing. You're just gonna like you're gonna throw Light a girlfriend, like this is how long in the making this was, and the reason for her being infatuated with him. Like, this doesn't make any sense. She's like, there are a million better looking guys in this marketplace that she can make eye contact with. Like, no shade to that actor, but it's
she's like a pop star. Oh wait, no, you're saying in the live action Death Note?
No, so I'm talking about now Alita, but yeah, in the live action Death Note, she's also a model pop star in Death Note. But in Alita, right? Like, I maybe just sort of like a hatched henling, like you just get doe-eyed with the first non-you person you see. I have no idea, but I could get rid of him.
I believe in the anime, his first words were "Ooh, sex robot."
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. At that point, I'd be like, why did they even keep him in the first place? Then they probably, like, in 2019, like they would have probably cut his role. But also, the topic we talked about last time was like the cultural appropriation of characters, and Ito, I would imagine Dr. Dyson Ito, being a Japanese person. And not this fucking German Christoph Waltz. I don't know, I didn't at all read or watch the manga or the anime, so I don't know, but it didn't come up as an issue to people, so I'm gonna just leave it alone. But I just wanted to say that, like, a lot of the names in here, Tanji and Koyomi and all these other things, like, have Japanese sounding names. I would have expected to see more Japanese actors in this.
That's the weird middle ground, is that, like, imagine if America, or I mean our production, whatever production company that was in charge of Alita, imagine if they actually casted like Japanese American voice actors, or actual, I'm thinking about anime now, just actual Japanese American actors. I do think it would have done as well in the box office. It didn't do that well to begin with.
It didn't do well at all. But yeah, hindsight, it couldn't hurt, right? But yeah, would it have hurt the marketing? Maybe. I mean, because you look at this cast, this is a fucking massive cast, and also Ed Norton does a cameo as Nova, like the ruler of the Sky place. You didn't even notice that
Norton.
at the end of
Yes.
the movie when Mashar Ali is dying and his eyes go blue, which means that someone is talking through him. Nova hangs up, and then he's like, I'll be waiting for you, Lita. And he kind of does this like Thanos side smug grin. And you're like, is that Ed fucking Norton? Like, what is he doing in this film? Yeah. So this film had so the fact that this film had this many major players leads me to believe that they wanted to make a franchise sort of thing out of it, right? Like they wanted to tell a story over a long period of time, but because it didn't do well, they kind of canceled the sequels, but now they're revamping the sequels. They're like revisiting, redoing the sequels now.
Hopefully they don't cut the budget, because this movie really excelled because of how much it could do. Even if, I mean, you don't even have to bump the budget to get those set scenes, those on location shoots up to par. I think you can just probably fix that. Yeah, you don't.
Look at Mandalorian. You LED wall. You fucking. Where do you need to go?
Oh yeah. Right? Oh, they can totally LED wall that. I think. Well, do you know when the sequels are coming out? Because I don't know how much this will benefit from a sequel. I don't know. It just feels like that was just a cash grab. I mean, yeah, but I wasn't asking more questions about, like, please tell me more. Like, I know that the robot boyfriend died. Spoiler. And I know that, and I felt nothing. And it's just the fact that if he comes back in the sequel, it's not a surprise. I think that's the first thing you think about when he falls off that cliff.
I want to know more about the war. I want to know more about her technology, what it's capable of. I want to know if is the Sky City just full of fucking Alitas, right? Like, are there more of them? Like, how could you have this massive war in this like top grade technology and then like not try to salvage it? I feel like I feel like it would be a full-time occupation to dumpster dive for this like latent technology. I'd be like, oh, it's here somewhere. Yeah. It's in here. I'm going to find something rare and fucking I'm going to be rich, or like I'm going to make it power my entire house. Yeah.
Oh, I found Alita.
Yeah. I find this skull and I'm going to bring it home. Totally not weird.
I'm for science.
And I'm going to give it my daughter's body. That the body Alita inhabits early is Christoph Waltz and Jennifer Connelly's kid's body. She doesn't survive. They maintain the body, like this porcelain drawing sort of thing. She had an accident. And then they put Alita into it, which was like, what a coincidence. Like this, fits like a glove.
I think they should have definitely incorporated more of that side of the story instead of the love interest. Like if they were going to go for a sequel route, that's probably, I don't know, maybe start the love interest halfway through, or I don't know. I'm just because I really don't think I loved Christoph Waltz and her interacting.
Yeah,
those parts I remember. Same. Those were one of the cruxes of the film. So
this is why I can't wait for the movie theater industry to die, because it's a limitation, right? You've got a bunch of people making decisions on like what to keep and what to cut, based on our attention span, or like people aren't going to sit in this for 3 or 4 hours, right? Or it's going to be very obvious if we ended on a cliffhanger and they're going to have to buy part 2, part 3, where if you release a mini series, 4 episode mini series, you can tell the story that you want to tell and not have to leave anything on the cutting room floor, and it'll be much like the actors won't be jaded because you didn't cut their emotional scene, like there won't be that Jared Leto thing of like, how many scenes did he shoot to only appear as 5 minutes, even though they sold it to us as if like the Joker's gonna be here.
I don't even want to see a Snyder cut, whatever, an Ayer cut of Suicide Squad with more Joker in it. Yeah. I just want to see just 2 hours of all the scenes Leto got cut, and just see what that super cut, just his scenes. I want to see what that would even be. But yeah, it's a quick aside.
I mean, maybe, yeah. With that said, I'm gonna rate this an 80, with an asterisk, and I'm gonna say the asterisk is what happens in the sequel will determine whether or not this first one was worth your time. This is entertaining. Some of the best CGI I've ever seen. The fight scene where she storms the
Yeah.
compound and fights those bots. The fight scene, those spider bots, those large spider bots. The fight scene where she fights in the ring. I watch that on YouTube all the time. That's amazing. Where she's at the starting line, she's like, "Don't hurt me, guys," and
Yeah.
and she totally fucking demolishes them. It's amazing. And but the story, I'm not. I mean, I'm a passive observer. I don't have any stakes. I'm curious, but like, I'm just like, I didn't walk away. I walked away thinking more about the world than I did the characters, their relationship, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give it an 80, and maybe revise it if part two comes out and it's great. The actors, I feel like did a solid job, but it's a big box office film, right? You're not gonna have some emotional attachment to a villain or a bounty hunter or even heartwarming Christoph Waltz trying to humanize Rosa Salazar's character. It's fun.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's very fun. I'm surprised. I'm going lower this time actually,
What?
because because I really think this is a movie specifically for anime fans, and like if you're a weeb, if you will, uh, then you'll know like where to fill in the blanks and where you'll be like, oh, okay, I can throw that, I can omit that, but and I really had fun walking out of the movie theater. I really didn't complain nearly as much, but it's just more the more I think about it, the more problems that come up. So, and as much as I love the world and the special effects and how they built her, yeah, like her training by herself in front of the mirror, and then at the end of the movie, I was actually excited. That's one thing I do remember near the end. I was excited that there was a new body upgrade reveal, and they were like, "This is coming in the sequel," and we were like, "Wow!" Or I was, but I don't think it translates perfectly to film, and I don't think it's definitely more approachable than any other anime remake I've ever seen. That's for sure. But I think it's more along the lines of a 70. It's really good. It's fun, but yeah, I think there's some questions and there's some holes that won't allow you to enjoy the ride if you're not prepared for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my hope with that, I appreciate that. My hope with that is that they are keeping true, especially with the shot for shot sort of scene cinematography that they're doing, to the book. I wouldn't know, but I'm hoping that they're not holding our hands. So like the person who grew up in this diehard Alita, is like, yeah, they did this, but like what you didn't see was, at the same time this was happening in this other place, but they didn't, they cut that part or they didn't include that. I hope that's what's happening. And I acknowledge that I'm being super critical right now. But when I walked out, I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, this one's a turn your brain off and kind of just enjoy the ride thing.
Word.
If you like anime, you're gonna enjoy it.
And we hope that you enjoyed listening and watching today. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll turn it into something fun, I promise, or have already, because you're watching this in the past now. But I'm Warren.
Time is a construct.
It's so fake news all the time. I'm Warren. That's Aaron. You can catch us on Tuesday nights on Twitch with the Quest of Chaos crew, or you can like, subscribe, and share this podcast video out to your friends. Thanks for watching. Bye.